thanks very much for being here. Where do we stand on stimulus? Do you expect something to pass?
I think something will pass eventually. I'm encouraged to see one thing, and that is the Biden administration looking to do two things with these stimulus checks. One is lower the threshold so that those who most need them, that's the income threshold. In previous rounds, it was people under 75,000 received these checks. I understand there are talks underway to lower that threshold. And then secondly, to make it more targeted. You know, I don't know that employees of companies like Netflix or Amazon or others who have been booming in the last year need these stimulus checks. They need to be targeted to people who need them the most. And then my concern still remains that we don't need taxpayers in Florida bailing out the lockdown policies of Cuomo in New York or Newsom in California or Illinois. These lockdown policies have devastated businesses, devastated individual incomes, and therefore devastated their state tax budgets. And now they want to have federal tax dollars go to bail those out, whereas states like Florida and Texas have been able to manage their state budgets because the best way to stimulate the economy is to keep it open safely.
Yeah, in fact, Senator Schumer has already put forth a formal push to get the SALT deduction back in New York to pretty much bail them out because of the high taxes in New York.
Yeah, Maria, it's worth noting that Florida and New York, by example, have roughly the same population. Yet New York's state budget is double at $180 billion versus Florida's $90 billion state budget. Yet there are thousands of people moving into Florida per day, and we manage to serve our constituents well. So that's exactly what it is. It's a bailout, and all it is shell gaming people. Many of these people have escaped those high tax states. Now they're going to see their federal tax dollars going right back in. And then one other thing, Maria, this issue of schools and opening the schools. The Democrats need to stand up to the teachers' unions. There's no reason these schools can't be open. And in the last stimulus package, just in December, just a month ago, we passed monies for school. But now we're seeing Bernie Sanders and others say that if Republicans are serious about opening schools, they'll pass another round of monies in this next stimulus package.
That's right.
We have had kids in school since last August. They're doing fine. We give families the choice of doing virtual or in person. We need to open the schools. We need to open them now.
Well, you and the leadership in Florida, Governor DeSantis, have done an excellent job. I mean, the numbers, bear that out. Look at how many people are moving to Florida. Look at the growth numbers in terms of the economy we're seeing in Florida. And the mortality rates are actually better in Florida than in New York, even though your economy there in Florida is wide open. You can't say anything negative, though, about, much because of this censorship that we're seeing by big tech. Yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures, I spoke with California Congressman Devin Nunes on this effort within the government and social media platforms to silence conservative voices and what it means for the country. Listen to what Congressman Nunes said. I want to get your take on this as well, sir. Watch.
Okay.
You have political parties that decide that they want to go out and hire a bunch of people, develop a narrative that you go out and get reporters to go report on, and then the FBI takes it and picks it up and then uses it at the FISA court to actually make whatever the news narrative you want real. They turn the entire apparatus of the intelligence agencies on Americans that they don't like, Americans who maybe voted for Trump, Americans who use Parler, who think that Twitter and Facebook and Google and Apple are monopolies and antitrust and they should be broken apart. There's 75 million Americans who don't like those companies, who don't want to use those companies, but have to. Now what you're going to see is the FBI to the military is all going to be politicized because supposedly if you didn't vote the way the left and the Socialists and the Democrat Party wanted, you're now a domestic terrorist.
This is the new watchword from your colleagues on the left, Congressman. It's domestic terrorism, and it's basically encapsulating a lot of people who didn't do anything wrong.
Well, that's absolutely right. They're expanding the use of that term. And we are seeing elements of law enforcement, elements of the intelligence community reacting to news reports, and those news reports are being driven. We saw it famously with Schiff down in his skiff selectively leaking items literally as people were testifying, which then drives media reporting. Big tech picks it up, and they take it. I've introduced legislation
and the cycle goes on. And the cycle goes on. Congressman, we're going to continue spotlighting this issue. We recognize how important it is. Thank you so much, Michael Waltz. We'll be right back.